What's up, Breeze Nation? It's your boy P Kid with my man Stefan the Don right here, man,
Yo,
coming fresh off of the first day of free agency. It's been a hot thing. The Chicago Bulls finally make some moves. That gets us a little excited, maybe something to talk about. We'll talk about whether it's good or bad right now, man. Let's get into it. Steph, right now, we have officially signed Javon Carter to a
yep.
3-year, $20 million deal. How do you feel about it?
Man, hey, I legit, I feel like they got a steal, right? 3 years, 20 million. But I think the biggest thing about it is right, the deal's mad cheap, but also he's shooting 40% from three. He's a career almost for 40% 3 point shooter, and that's one of the things that we talked about that the Bulls needed. But not only that, he comes in, he gives you defense. Also from a championship winning organization. He won it with Giannis. He won it with the Bucks already. So he's gonna come in. He knows what it takes. Now there are some downsides to the deal, but all in all, I think this was a good move for AK to start it off. Some slight.
AK made some really big statements. He said that we were going to address shooting, and that's exactly what he did. And as you mentioned, Javon Carter comes in. Now he was a rotational piece for the Milwaukee Bucks.
Mhm.
He wasn't a starter. We're not going to make it seem as if he was. But in the two stints that he had with the Milwaukee Bucks, 2021, 2022 season, in the 20 game stretch he shot 50% from the field, 55% from three. And
Talk
obviously
to
in the
me.
last season, he was 22 minutes a game, was available for 81 games, shot 42% from the field, but that same 42% was mostly 3 pointers. So he shot 42% from three. So for a career, he's at 40% from three, which is something that we actually needed. How do you feel about us tying, 3 years to a guy who didn't even start on his particular team? Now I know that's a tongue in cheek type question because I mean he wasn't going to start over Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday is top tier at his position.
Yep.
Um, but from everything you see, doesn't seem like he was able to even start at any spot he was at. If I'm being honest, how do you feel about that particular part?
Well, I mean, I think even with that, right? He comes in, and I think that even some of the games that he did start last year, he was very serviceable, which I feel like the Bulls are going to be able to need because they did sign Kobe White
Mm-hmm.
to
We'll get into that.
to an extension, the 3 year 40 extension.
Jesus.
But then after that, you don't know if Io is going to be out, so he may have a chance to start here. And the thing that I like that you said, that 81 games, so he's also very very durable, which is something that I we haven't been able to really say about Alex Caruso and guys like that, so on and so forth. So I feel like he may be able to just win into that starting lineup, possibly. You never know, but it's early, so we'll see.
Now, Javon Carter is 27. I thought he was a little older. He's 27. He was drafted in 2018 by Memphis, or at least that's where he played his first season. And so this is somebody who has incrementally improved at certain spots. I think my only apprehension to this is ultimately, is he coming in for a starting spot? Who starts? Is Kobe our starter? Like ultimately, how do we fit him into this? Because the one thing I know about Javon Carter is that he is primarily a point guard. Like you're not putting him at the two. He can't definitely ain't playing the three,
He's
right? And there's no knock to him. It's just he's 6'1", right?
absolutely.
Uh, he's 6'1". Now he's 6'1" and 6'1", 200 pounds. So literally he's like slightly taller than me, but I weigh more than
Yeah.
him.
Mhm.
So like,
Yeah.
that ultimately doesn't mean anything. But at the end of the day, is he a starter on this team? Like, did you sign him to be a starter? Did you sign him to be a rotational piece off the bench? Because Kobe White, for all intents and purposes, is not a point guard. We've played him at the point. It didn't work well. Um, I know he's had some offseason, improvements. He's in the gym. He's working. That's great. I love it for him. But Kobe White's not a point guard. Kobe White's a shooting guard. And at his height, he can even beat a three. So who comes in to start? Is he starting? Is he your starting point guard? And is does this give you enough to say, hey, this is a good pickup to start? I think it's a good rotational piece. He helps shooting off the bench, but I don't think of him as a starter. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest questions that I had when this deal first came through because it's like you said, Kobe's really a tool. He's been getting in off season work with Chris Paul. Those two guys are really close, Kobe and Chris. But I think that Kobe is definitely gonna be a guy off of the bench, obviously, because you have Zach starting. But not only that, it's like he hasn't really Javon Carter hasn't really shown anything that warrants him to be like a solidified starter. But again, we don't know what AK is gonna do to finish out free agency. He could bring in a Russ or maybe a Dennis Schroeder. So you never know. But I think these are definitely
Mm-hmm.
supportive pieces to put around a team that you either you got to pick a direction where either you're gonna keep this team long term or some of these guys that you did sign aren't gonna be here for the full season. They're only going to be here past. They won't be here past the All Star break.
Yeah, yeah, I get you. I get you. Now it's obviously, this is one move. It does help shooting. So AK hasn't, maintained it with the same thing. AK hasn't lied to us, right?
Mm-hmm.
He said he was going to do something to address shooting. The numbers will tell you that Javon Carter is a good shooter. And you can go look at it. He's a shooter, right? And one of the things that we didn't have, and we got a lot of last season, is a lot of wide open shots that people didn't knock down. So now we have somebody in the building who actually helps with that. Moving to this, because I don't think this is worth a second video, so we'll just lump it all into like what AK has done so far,
Let's do it.
right? Kobe White gets his extension now. It is still being debated between whether it's a 3-year 33 or 3-year 40. There's a lot of conflicting reports on it. The Athletic has it as 33. The Sun Times has it as 33. Chicago Bulls have it as something like
Everybody else got it
Woj.
at 40. What's happening?
Somebody has it at 40, but let's just split the difference. It's over 33 to 40.
hmm
How do you feel about that? And ultimately, do you think this was the right? Let's say it is 40. Do you think that was the right move to make for Kobe White?
I believe it was because I think that you had a decision to make between him or Io, and it looks like for all intents and purposes you made that decision. And giving him the deal. Is it a little much in my opinion? Maybe. With the numbers that he's put out there over the past couple seasons, we know that you've been trying to get rid of him since you've been here. That's been a running joke. But not literally. I think that it's a very serviceable deal, and if anything else, it's a movable deal. Same thing. I kind of feel about the Vooch thing. Tying it all together with some of the moves that he's made. If nothing else, I feel like right now this team is in like a we know we got DeMar for one more year.
Mhm.
We just re-signed Vooch. There's gonna be some value there. I really feel like this team is in a mode, and AK is in a mode of okay, Billy, like they signed Billy long term. Either we're gonna play this season, and if we're bad, by the time the All Star break rolls around, Demar might be gone. You can get a package for Demar, or you can get a package for Vooch, or a package for Cody. It depends on what his trade value is looking like after that point, or you're just gonna ride it out with some of the pieces you just got. So it's kind of like a wait and see thing. But I like where AK is right now. But I would be lying if I said I wasn't just a little bit worried.
I'm a little bit worried because I don't see where what most of you all are seeing. Um, there's a report right now. I'm looking at it, and I'm not going to put out the actual source because maybe this. No, I'm actually going to put out the source. The Athletic um, has Kobe White. This is one word that they use to describe him. He is a consistent beyond the arc 3-point shooter.
We know that's not true.
Here we go. So for people who actually
We know that's
watch
not
this
true.
team, for people who actually we call here's the one thing I want people to understand on the Windy City Breeze, we've live called every single game.
Talk to him.
You can go back and watch it. Every single game. So you're not talking to some people who just sit there and look at the stat sheet, or some people who watch a couple games and make this whole, narrative, create a narrative. We watched every single game. There's one thing I've actually seen from Kobe White. One, there was a player back in the day called the microwave. Came off the bench, get you a quick. He go from like being a scrub to getting you 30 quick. I've
Quick.
always said Kobe falls in that role.
Oh,
And he really
and
strung it
he's
together.
yeah. And
Right?
I will say too, like the crazy part is, and it's crazy that you bring the microwave up, bro. He's had months where it's like legit. He turned from like legit sub zero to like scorpion in like 2.5 seconds, where he's just like, all right, it's like we
Mhm.
hooping. So it's like, what the value at now? So it's just like, yo, like I said, it might be a movable piece. You gotta wait and see. I'm really interested to see what this team is gonna do, but legit, I want people to understand this. The ball's in AK's court. He's gonna have to make a move, and I need people to like, okay, like Denver won the championship, like that part of that era is over with him. We need to start focusing on what he's been doing right now, and it ain't been that good. Like that's just me being honest.
I think a couple of things have happened here, and it ultimately does boil down back to what AK does. And here's what I want people to understand: the reason why I have been really big on helping people appreciate, like, hey, Kobe White is good. I'm not saying he's not good, but the way that everyone's talking about utilizing him, the coach is telling you different. In fact, two different coaches have told you different. So Kobe White, since he's gotten here, has been on a sharp decline. He's it's declined every season. And outside of the with Billy Donovan, it definitely has. He's declined every season from minutes played and even shots taken. Right. And so when you see this jump in production is him taking limited shots, taking 8 shots a game. He's hitting three. Most of his shots are threes. So it's gonna look really good from that perspective. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. But you know the thing I look at that everyone's like
Mm,
overlooking? We just gave him 40 mil over three. And out of the 74 games he was available, guess how many he started?
I'm in.
Two. Two. Mind you, we played him and Io very interchangeably. Am I wrong?
No, you absolutely right about that.
So guess whose minutes didn't drastically decline, and guess who started most of the season?
Io.
51 games. And Io's 34% from three, which is not
No, that's not terrible. A lot of teams would actually take that.
it's not terrible. He's shoots for his career. Last season he was
Oh,
31%. He had a bad sophomore
yeah.
season. But he's 50% from the field. Like literally 0.493 from the field. He didn't have a massive drop off, and he was consistent to the point where Billy Donovan felt comfortable starting him 51 games. So that's where I look at it. I was like, okay, I see this news for Kobe White. I like what that does from having instant offense off the bench. I like that. But the person you started most of the season, you didn't give. I didn't hear no news about him accepting that. And to be honest with you, like what are we really doing in that regard? Because I do think that in this case, in this situation, Io's more valuable. And it has nothing to do with my personal opinion. It's just what the production on the floor has looked like and what consistency
Yep.
ultimately is. Consistency is if I look at year over year, are there large variances between what you put out on the floor? And for Kobe White, it's been large variances to the point where the coach has said, hey, listen, I'm gonna have you do less and see what you do in those roles.
Yeah, I think what it is for me, I'm kind of with you though, right? I'm looking at this like, if you're going, because I think now the main three guards on the roster would be so now you got Javon Carter, Alex Caruso. I would keep Io. I would keep Io just because of the simple fact that I know, like, even though because I'm not gonna say that Kobe hasn't been working because obviously he's been posting the videos and he's shown the handle has improved, but like,
Yep.
bro, the shooting numbers are just super drastic to the point that, okay, if you're not hitting, we got to find something else for you to do. But now it's getting to the point like I can't even trust you on the court because you got to also remember too, Alex Caruso got some of them starts too. He just got hurt.
Facts.
So
Facts.
hey,
Facts.
hey,
So why does Alex Caruso like how does that happen? I know even when Pat Bev comes in, so it's like I just have this thing where it's like, hey, I get it, but I don't view these I don't view one player as the future as some people put it, whereas the real opportunity to actually have a combo guard who is a known bucket getter, who's efficient, and actually fits your system is there. He was your second rounder. Like AK has done something that's really interesting. His second round draft picks are great.
oh, absolutely.
You got to look at the people he signed even this year. One of them wasn't even a second rounder. He just went undrafted. When it was an MVP. What was it? The MVP of the I want to get the league right. Um you know what I'm saying? Big man.
The
Big man. He didn't get drafted. What was he?
the
No, that's
on
NCAA. He was
I don't want
MVP
to
of the
mess his
tournament.
name up.
I definitely can't pronounce
Yeah,
his name right. But when
I
you
don't
look
want to
at the
mess his name up.
potential of who he
But yeah,
signed, that's a good pickup.
nah, great pickup.
So really good pickup. Late undrafted. So he's really good at finding that particular talent. I'm a little leery on his first round pickups. P. Wills to me still hasn't done it. But all in
We
all,
don't even know who Marco is.
this is ultimately something that what
We
you
don't
say?
even know who Marco is.
We don't even know who Marco is.
Well,
But Marco
Billy don't know who
statistically,
Marco is. Marco ain't even on the team to Billy.
Marco statistically is 21-10 in the G League
Uh,
at a certain point. So, but hey, then we want to know what your Wall's thoughts are. How do you feel about this? Javon Carter, Kobe White being extended 40 million over 3 as apparently what the number may be. How do you all feel about that? It's not crazy scary, but at the end of the day, it's a lot more than I thought he
it's
was
a
gonna
lot
get,
for
if I'm gonna be
Kobe.
honest with you.
Lot for Kobe.
Yeah, I was happy with 30. Initial point was 3 year 30 million. Then it was 3 year 33 million. Now it's 3 year 40 million.
Up the price three
Come
times
on,
in
my
three
G. That
minutes.
extra 10 million hurt.
Oh man.
That extra 10 million hurt. I was like, hold on now, hold on. What we doing? But we want to hear your thoughts, man. Whether it's love, whether it's hate, put it in the chat, man. We got a long off season. Apparently, AK is making some moves. If this is what his wait and see was, then obviously we know that this ain't it
Hey,
because it better not be.
show and tell with show and tell with none to show is crazy.
Hey man, listen, but again, whether it's love, whether it's hate, put it in the comments. We'll be in there with you all. Till next time.